is the principal practicum observation number one, conducted by myself, the presenter, Monica Llanos. So I'm gonna do introductions. It's a little bit about myself, a little background. First of all, welcome. Thank you for allowing me to be part of for helping me out, being my mentor for the practicum class. My name is Monica Llanos. When I first started with the school district, I was a paraprofessional 1 year at Sorensen Elementary. Um, then I uh, passed my exam and I became a teacher. I became a fourth grade teacher here at Clover Elementary, and I taught fourth grade for 4 years. Then I was able to move over to third grade. I was moved over to third grade and I taught for 5 years at the same campus for Clover Elementary. So, totally a total of 9 years that I have been working here at Clover Elementary. I decided to pursue my education and master's to get my master's in educational leadership, and I am currently enrolled in the principalship program, which is what I'm doing right now. We have our program goals. The program goal is to help interns get a deeper learning about the profession as an administrator, which is either an assistant principal or principal through practices and hands-on activities. So I'm going to be going over a little bit of I'm going to give you an agenda of what we're going to be covering. Here's your copy. And this is my copy. So I've already covered the introductions and I'm in the program goal, and it's to assist interns in learning about the profession of an administrator through practices and hands-on activities. I know that our goal for our campus, for our course, um, has as a student, I'm supposed to be meeting 100% of the program. We're enrolled. We're supposed to have our Texas exam passed, and I'll go into detail um, within the next slides. So the purpose of the meeting is to describe the program requirements for both the intern, which is myself, and then the mentor, which is a campus principal. And this is which includes the observation. We're going to discuss the observation one, the observation two, observation three, and then we're going to discuss ongoing and future projects to fulfill before the ending of the program.
Perfect.
And I'm going to go over our roles and responsibilities. So here's a copy of the roles and responsibilities for the mentor, the student, and the field supervisor, and I will be covering the mentor roles, and I'm on page one. So going over the class that I'm taking is Educational Leadership 6391. It is a principal practicum. It's an internship at the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley, and the mentor role and responsibilities. As a mentor, your responsibility is an experienced role model who guides the professional development of a less experienced individual through coaching. A dedicated mentor is vital to the successful completion of the principal practicum program, which means we're going to be working together, coaching me, providing me feedback, how I can better myself, how I can strengthen my skills as an administrator. Any correction, guidance will be needed. The mentor internship relationship is a rewarding endeavor that enhances each person's career. So both the mentor and the intern learn more about themselves, improve their skills, and gain professional recognition. It is an opportunity for the mentor to give back to the profession through sharing leadership knowledge and skills. As a result, the intern will be better prepared for the role of campus leader. So, I believe in this case, it would be more like give me a lot of your experience, your hands-on with what is best, how to do, guide me in the correct way of, leading as a campus administrator with best practices, what works best, and how I can be a great, role model, a great leader within the campus. Do you have any feedback you would like to add there?
Well, hands-on experience is the most important thing you're gonna gain from this internship is doing it yourself. You know, that's how we learn, and it's okay to stumble. That's why I'm here. Um, but yeah, it's it's never a dull moment. There's always something different.
Yeah.
Every day is different. Like you can't plan for this position. You just have to be ready for whatever comes your way
Yes.
because you're the last line of defense here at school.
Yes. Thank you. I'm going to continue with the purpose of the mentoring. So the purpose of the mentoring, improve the quality of leadership, develop a pool of administrators, provide on-the-job development, create a linkage between theory and practice, recognize the expertise of experienced administrators. So that would help me to strengthen my skills, help me prepare for this program and this role that I've decided to take on. Um, any suggestions or on that area?
Recognize the expertise of experienced administrators, different administrators, and I know when you've only been under what maybe I'm the third principal probably
Mhm.
at Sorensen, and then Miss Diaz, and then me.
Correct.
So all of us are different, and we all have different strengths. And it's good that they're having you study or examine some of different administrators, so you can pick up on different strengths. That's how we learn. I mean, by observing
Observing the different.
and asking questions. And it's important for you to be yourself. Don't try to be me because you're not gonna. You're not me.
Yeah.
You know. Don't try to be Miss Diaz. Don't try to be Miss
Cortez.
Cortez from Sorensen. Just and you know it's like when you become a teacher, you're in the classroom, and you get assigned a mentor teacher. Don't try. You can't be that person. Don't try to be that person. I remember when I was mentoring a new teacher. She wanted to do things my way. I'm like, no, no, you have to find yourself. Same thing as a principal. You have to be who you are. Like, use
Yes.
your strengths to your advantage. Don't try to be me because you're not me. Don't try to be Miss Diaz because you're not Miss Diaz.
Yeah.
So,
That's thank you. I really appreciate your
yeah.
advice. So the benefits for the mentor, um, which is myself, it's recognition as a successful administrator, and that's my goal. I want to be a successful administrator. Reflection on own skills and practices. It'll allow me to reflect on myself. How can I better myself? What route can I take to improve myself? And the guidance and the feedback that you provide and the coaching as my mentor will help me um, better myself. Exposure to fresh ideas, incentive to stay current. Make sure that we're always staying current with anything that's changes, standards, state standards, TA requirements, personal satisfaction in sharing with others, the opportunity to contribute to the development of an aspiring principal and to the field of education, access to research and new information through the intern. So as we communicate with each other, we can feed off each other, like what information I have, what am I learning, what has changed, access to data and evidence based recommendations that may be used for technology plan, campus plan activities, etc. So I'm open to any kind of anywhere I can help. For example, the campus improvement plan, staff meetings, anything that I'm able to assist, my knowledge, and then for myself, so I can get the hands-on experience and see what it's like in that role. Assistance with developing community relationships and partnerships, which is the community, any activities or any kind of fundraising activities on the outside that's dealing with the community, anything to be out there and expose and build those relationships and partnerships with the outside
The Spring
external.
Expo.
The Sprint Expo, which is one of our projects that we'll be discussing in depth. Um, help with tasks and responsibilities while providing valuable hands-on experience for the intern, beginning and ending of the school year, safety and facilities, campus duties, anything that you want me to be part of, any extra duties can be assigned to myself, testing and accountability. That would help me know the procedures, policies, and what to relate to the teachers and make sure the teachers are informed as well. Curriculum and instruction, which is very vital. making sure that we're following our state standards. So these responsibilities, there are benefits for you as a mentor that I can be part of, and we can go over and helping me, mentoring me in that area, so I can be very prepared. So the responsibilities of the mentor is to participate in the mentor training, which you have already completed, assist with planning and scheduling practicum activities, which is where we'll be working together and meeting future dates, what date is best, how can we plan this observation for observation one, observation two, and three, and 15 to 20-minute debriefing sessions daily or time weekly, reflecting with the student on the days of activities. For example, what experiences did you have today? Whether it was a CLC meeting, how did it go? How can we make it better? What concerns do you have? So that's basically me reflecting with you and you mentoring me and coaching me. You know what? Let's maybe you could have done this, or let me suggest this. Um, Share past experiences and expertise related to the roles and responsibilities of the principal leader. So, based on our coaching, you can share, like you just did right now, your past experiences that helped me to understand more of how to become a better leader. Model effective practices, procedures, and strategies, which you already do. You're a great leader. You model effective practices, procedures, and strategies. If something's not working, you come up with, like, for example, our scores. You have to come up with an action plan. How can we better help the students? Intentional tutoring. So you already provide all that excellent feedback, excellent role model, providing constructive feedback to the student, which is very important for me. So I can either, depending whether it's my tone or how my approach or anything that helps me to know, Ms. Reina, you need to, Ms. Ramos, you need to
Tone and body language.
tone and body language,
That's
anything.
important in this position.
Yes, yes. So anything would be very helpful for me as a student. Um, Allow the student to be meaningfully involved and contribute to chosen aspects of the school and supervise that involvement. Examples like campus committee, the CIP, and projects. And at the right now, which is really good. I mean, you have me part of the Holdsworth Committee, which is a leadership excellence program. So we get to meet and kind of like identify problem areas of concern in our campus together. And I get to work with you and our assistant principal, which is Ms. Days, and that helps a lot tremendously to hands-on see your role, see your view and your perspective as a campus leader, but you also have input of a perspective of a teacher leader.
And it's good training because you're in a room full of administrators, principals, assistant principals, and leaders, teacher leaders.
Yes,
So,
definitely.
so that's great training for you there already.
Yeah.
You don't need me. You have whole sorts.
We also offer opportunities for the student to attend principal meetings and staff development related to leadership skills, which is really good because you provided like a really good example when we met on the 20th on Friday. I'm sorry, the 17th on Friday. You kind of mentioned like I want you to sit in with Mr. Loyola. I want you to sit in here, which is really really good. It allows me to feel okay. Wow, I'm gonna be able to observe and listen and take notes and get all that good information to help me become strong. Assist student with access to situations and personal needed to complete practicum activities, allow the student to be meaningfully involved in and contribute to aspects of the campus and supervise that involvement. Um, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to try to see if I can, anything that you allow me to be involved in, so that way I can be able to contribute and be able to observe and see different areas.
Perfect.
So now, my responsibilities as a student, I have responsibilities as a student. My responsibilities are to attend my required courses, which I'm currently taking, making sure that I complete all TA, forum, and class assignments um, that are given to me by Dr. Garcia, my professor, and then completion of the 160 log hours, excuse me, of field activities. And those 160 log hours will go into depth of so far what I've had. And I do have a sample right here that provides me with
Good.
a student how, yeah, of a guide of how Dr. Garcia provided us with a sample of how a student submits their hours, what is allowed. And I'm going to go over really quickly. And this is a list. This is a copy for you. And this is a copy for myself. Some of the recommended field activities to meet the 160 log hours. So I will go over these and then in depth, I'll show you what I have and you can see That way you're familiar with what I'm doing and you know what I'm adding on to my core field activities. So some of the activities I'm going to go over are like shadowing activities,
Okay.
the principal mentor walkthroughs, like you said. I want you to do, make sure you observe. That way you know the process of it. Curriculum dean specialist, a central office administrator, and which is a really good example because you gave me Mr. Noyola. I want you to sit in with an office administrator and I want you to hear the kind of complaints, the kind of concerns that parents have, assistant principals, and anything dealing with Mrs. Thayes. If you want me to sit in with something shadowing her, whether it be for the STAR strategies, the TELPAs, all that good stuff, so that way I'm familiar with that area. Interviews, principal budgets, school budgets, the PEMS clerk, the nurse. I can interview the nurse. You know, what is the process that she has? What are the main important information trainings that our teachers need to have? Cafeteria director manager, the maintenance director, transportation personnel, safety, business personnel, Title One, parental involvement, the districts, and then curriculum work sessions, any curriculum work that pertains to our standards, our new state standards, um, areas of analysis for curriculum document, region one, and district wide. Campus improvement activities, anything having to analyze the campus improvement plan, analyzing STAR again, the TELPAs, data, any data, for example, that we analyze with our grade levels in regards to our scores or benchmarks, um, assisting the principal in evaluating, surveying the staff. Anything that we want to like, we want to find out, we can survey the staff together or come up with a little survey to provide feedback for leaders and making sure how can we address these concerns. Focusing on the campus data and strategies, anything that you have in place that is new or you want to make modifications to. Board policies, anything that pertains to that board policy area, which is the handbook, safety policies, trainings, the bilingual education policies, discipline, which is one of the ones that I kind of like wanted for future. Attending key meetings, which is principal meeting, board meetings, bond meetings, all that can be added as part of my core activities. We also have special workshops, which is we have curriculums, we attend Sharon Wells, reading, ELA curriculum, and writing curriculum, and discipline hearing, SPDM guidelines, and the committee participation. And there's furthermore, we have a list of it, um, of what we can attend.
Perfect.
So these are required monthly. I know that right now our professor, Dr. Garcia, he's been actually asking us weekly to submit weekly so he can monitor and see what
Right.
160 hours, as well as me
It's a lot of
notifying him.
hours, so he knows that you're on track.
Yeah, yes, to keep us
That's
guided.
good. That's good.
So that is all that information. So right here, this is we are on the second area of the agenda, overview practicum observations. So this is where all the part of the good stuff where we kind of have to make sure that we follow some of the TEA requirements. So we have 3 videotaped observations, and they do total 135 minutes. TEA requirements are that 3 videotaped observations are planned, and they are approved by the mentor and coordinated by the UTRGV field supervisor. So for example, like when we met on Friday, that was, you know, we planned it together and it's approved by yourself because you're my mentor and this is what, these are your expectations.
Perfect.
These are the projects. And then I submit that information to our Dr. Garcia, which is our field supervisor.
Uh-huh.
And then he sees what we plan and he approves, gets back with me. And each observation, you know, these 135 minutes are going to be 3, but they're going to be 45 minutes long. So for example, like this is our first one, it has to be 45 minutes long, making sure that I've covered all the practicum requirements, my expectations as a student, your expectations as a mentor, and we're supposed to submit to the video to the field supervisor. So once I do that completion, I will go ahead and submit the video of what we discussed and how I presented the information to you. Reflections. After observations, each observation we discuss with the mentor the outcome of the given presentation. dialogue activity, what we discussed. And I do have a sample of a reflection. This is our planning, a sample of our planning. And then right now we will discuss the actual one that we planned together.
Yes.
And that's one of the examples. So then afterwards, I reflect on what I learned, what did I gain out of the practicum, and what are my expectations. And then the activity log, and that's the one that I discussed previous to this slide. It's a detailed activity log to be completed totally in 160 hours and relevant experience such as, and that's the actual copy that I provided, which is the list of the recommendation core field activities. So that's that one. Um, I'm going to go on to the next slide. These are some of the other part of the TA requirements. The observations, they are required by TEA, and we do have to have planning documents. And the planning document, which goes back to the planning practicum,
Okay.
that's one of the documents. And then the documents where I've already, what is the reflection based on that document? What are my expectations? And then Texas exam. For me to be in this class and for me to continue my principalship, I should have met standard, and I took my first part of the Texas exam in December the 21st, I believe it was on a Saturday. I took the exam and I got my results and I passed that part, so that's we're good to go. We're still on the green light, and so now I'm in this area of the principalship. You know, where I'm part of doing the practicum already, the internship with you, and working closely with you to get the experience and um, the observations that I'm required to do. So the course expectations, according with Mr. Dr. Garcia, we're supposed to have our three observations. And the first one is mentor intern videotapes, which is what we're doing today on January the 20th. And we're planning the practicum. We planning the practicum, describing and reviewing what the semester goals and the objectives are for the year. The observation number two is going to be the curriculum presentation, which is the video. We kind of discussed it would be videotaped on February the 8th.
Okay.
However, if anything needs to be changed, you know, further, we can let Dr. Garcia know any emergencies or anything that arises. We will be just that second presentation is going to be reading curriculum
Okay.
and math curriculum both. So yeah, staff development with the staff. It'll be myself, yourself, and the staff. And third grade is the chosen one, which we discussed reading curriculum, a math curriculum, what teachers are supposed to be following, making sure they're aligned to the state standards, and making sure that what they're relaying in the classrooms, the delivery of instruction is aligned to the state standards. And excuse me, going over STAR testing dates, which is very important for the third grade group to know when we are administering the state test. And observation three is going to be the mentor intern staff, videotaped on February the 20th, 2020. And it's going to be the math benchmark data. And that is going to be based on our benchmark one scores. Third grade, yes, because by February, we're not going to have that second administration for benchmarking. So we won't have it until late. If that's the case, then we would probably be discussing benchmark number two. So my job is going to be to gather the student data using DMAC reports, making sure that we analyze it very careful, and we know that what are our areas, our strengths, what are our weaknesses, and making sure that we analyze the readiness and the support standards. What is the weight? What students are getting correct, and what students are missing? What areas? What misconceptions they have based on those releases? And we're going to create a plan of action to improve areas of weaknesses. That way we have intentional tutoring, intentional interventions with the students, and making sure that we're targeting those areas of concern and not just basically reviewing the data and putting it to the side. We need to make sure that we're intentional with the students so that we can all, as a grade level, raise up the scores and making sure that our students are being successful by meeting the state standards and making sure that we hit our 30, 60, 90, which is our masters, our meets, and approaching
The
level.
goals, yes.
Yes. I'm going to pause for 1 minute. I just want to make sure that we're still recording and it's not. Okay. Yes. Good.
Okay.
So, so those are the three observations those are the course expectations, and those are the three observations that we discussed that we were going to be handling. And so, you have any questions there?
Nope, we're
No,
good.
you were good. Yes. Okay. I'm gonna go over to the
Some of
semester
those
project.
dates might have to change,
Yeah,
right?
depend.
Yeah, but
That's reasonable. I can let Dr. Garcia know, and we can discuss if, depending on what because what if you're not here?
right, all of a sudden, they'll call a
Yes.
principal's meeting or, stuff like that. Stuff comes up and he understands, I'm sure.
Yes.
So it just, because the principal's schedule is never set. Something happens
Correct.
right away and, it needs your attention. Or something might be going on here at school, and
Mhm.
I'm not gonna say, oh, don't, I can't do that right now. I have to meet with
Yes.
Miss.
True. No, no, I understand. And if anything, we will have to
Right, right.
relook at the date
See,
or when we get closer to it and kind of see. Because our doctor says we're good about allowing, okay, we have
see.
this time frame to go ahead and videotape the observations, which is good. Thank you for letting me know because we will bring that up. Now we're in this area, the semester projects.
Uh,
So going over the semester projects, you have assigned me two projects that you want me to focus on.
yes.
And project number one. Project number one is the math benchmark data. So this is the third grade data analysis, the special project. That's the one that we discussed that I will be analyzing with my grade level the recent benchmark for the 2019-2020 school year.
Okay.
Based on that area, gathering all that data using DMAC reports, um, the benchmark, looking at the stemming, analyzing the stemming for the readiness and the supporting standards, so that way the students are aware and us teachers were aware, what vocabulary, what do we target, why did the student miss it by analyzing the misconceptions. For example, if a student is unable to understand what the word difference is, we have to make that connection back to our vocabulary and making sure that teachers were, as a group, were targeting that academic vocabulary versus just, oh, it's, go ahead and subtract, making it a little bit more rigorous to them. Um, so we will be analyzing that readiness and support standard. And based on all that information that we're analyzing and all that stuff that we need to increase, making sure that we analyze our areas of concerns, we will create an action plan for you to improve the areas of weaknesses. And then I will be conducting that meeting with third grade teachers. I will be presenting the information of the project that you have expected me to follow through with the campus on data analysis. So that way we're all on the same page and we're working together collaboratively and, making sure we're analyzing and we're understanding what areas of concern that the students are missing or
Perfect.
how can we better that. And then project number two, that is considered the special school improvement project with executive summary. This is a little bit more in depth. We're going to be analyzing third grade reading curriculum. So what I will be going over is right now I currently work with Ms. Gongora,
Mm-hmm.
with the third grade curriculum. I will be analyzing the curriculum. I will be going over what we have in place for PSGA, making sure that the teachers understand what graphic, or first of all, understanding the genre. What genre are we at in under reading? Um, what graphic organizers you should be utilizing, how these graphic organizers are helpful to the story, how we will be utilizing the comprehension, how important it is to understand those comprehension questions because they're very aligned. I know that I work very closely with Ms. Gongora, which is a curriculum. I'm part of the curriculum writing group. So what I basically do is I analyze all the STAR release test, and I align them, make sure that those stories, which is our new adoption that we don't have any of that information. We closely align it to the stemming of third grade release. So making sure that the teachers are aware of that, how important it is, how intentional, how they themselves can utilize that reading curriculum themselves, by questioning the students, pausing for understanding, checking for understanding, and how when they're delivering their instruction, they're able to make sure that they understand the curriculum and how important it is to make sure that they're not just winging it and to make sure they're pausing and understanding the curriculum, how it's utilized, the components of the curriculum, the lesson guide, and how daily they should be delivering the instruction. That's for the reading. And then in third grade, I know that we do attend our Sharon Wells curriculum. PSJ has Sharon Wells. I will be going over making sure that we don't just, let's go ahead and this is how we do math and this is how I know it. No, we follow the script verbatim, understand what manipulatives are needed, the concrete, the semi-concrete levels, and making sure that the students that are needing that area, that as teachers, we're providing that service to them. For example, if the student requires manipulatives, making sure teachers make sure follow it. It tells you what your items are needed. So I will be going over the math curriculum for 2019, 2020,
Okay.
making sure that all third grade is on the same page and utilizing that academic vocabulary. Um, Start testing dates, going over the testing dates so that way they understand. Math is tested on a Monday, which is very crucial, Tuesday or whatever day it lands on, making sure that they understand the dates, the Tuesday and Wednesday.
I don't think we're testing them.
It's been changed to Tuesday, which is was a huge area of concern for teachers
Mm-hmm.
because Monday, like some of the students will have emergencies or out of town
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yes.
So that's one of the math curriculums that I'm going to be going. So I'll be going over the reading, math, and the start testing dates. Um, Conduct CLC meetings with third grade teachers to present the information. So I will be conducting, which is part of the process that I already help out with our third grade group. I have my set days, Mondays and Tuesdays, but now this meeting will be a little bit longer and it's going to be focused on two areas, two subject areas. Just making sure that they're aware of all that good stuff.
Perfect.
And before we go into the closing remarks, McDermott, we're gonna complete, it says complete observation by discussing the future dates and projects that will be approaching. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna go over, we're gonna meet, this is what we planned, and we will meet, we will go over the plan of action and your expectations, because like here, this is the practicum, the principal practicum. This is
Okay.
the observation number one planning, and it's just pretty much providing me information like your expectations. For example, we're going to go over part one. It says list below key activities discussed and selected collaboratively for completion during the principal practicum experience. So we can go over the information.
Okay. So the first one we have is create start testing groups. As you know, well, for me, getting the kids in the right groups is very important. I know that when I got here, the pull-out groups are always the students with the most needs. The oral, the small group, and sometimes we need to make sure that we put the right person there with the right students
Okay.
because different personalities and all that. We want to make the testing environment as comfortable for the student as possible. So if we put that student with somebody that they clash with already, that's already a turnoff.
Mhm.
So that might cost a score there, some
Yeah.
growth or whatever. Because kids are kids, and they need to be placed with somebody that's going to treat them justly.
Mhm.
So you just need to be very intentional with the groupings. And also, for example, last year we had a teacher with a small group, and most of her kids were being pulled out, as it was. So what we decided to do is she became the pull-out teacher because those kids will perform better with her
Yes.
there with the teacher.
Mhm.
That's why when we're making groups, we have to consider different things. Um, who is the student going to test better with? What needs, what accommodations does the student
Mhm.
need? Does he or she have to some accommodations? Um, and the proctor has to be, very good too. Like the teachers have to be trained because they're not just there doing nothing. They're monitoring. They're making sure that the kids are on task, and you have to have a very good testing environment. So the the creation of the groups is important. You can have a large pull-out group because they're a small group for a reason.
Mhm.
So you just gotta be creative in how you create the groups.
And then lead CLC's third grade.
Okay, for the CLCs, well, you kind of already in that role. You're a CLF and you've been leading CLCs. You you look a lot. You look at the data a lot and see how we can plan instruction to meet the needs of the kids. So this is where you as the leader, you say, okay, this particular grade level still needs training on differentiated instruction. They don't know how it looks like, or they need more strategies. So that's where the walkthroughs come in. We'll go into the classes, As a leader, you observe, you pick up on what the teachers need. If it's a need throughout the grade level, then you plan PD sessions for that. So based on what you observe, based on what the data tells you, and then that's how you grow your teachers there.
We have data analysis of benchmark one.
Okay, what does the data say? So once the good thing this year is that we have our own scanner. Once we have
Yes.
I love that because mistakes will scan them and right away I see how we did, and we can use the data, analyze the data quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Before I leave, I already know what we need to work on.
Mm-hmm.
So where we're at and all that. So data analysis of benchmark one, what I like to do is I like to take it by domain. Domain one, where is this grade level at? First of all, where is the teacher at? Then the grade level, and then the school. Domain one is student achievement, meaning passing, and it's not just passing anymore. It's which I love because we have to worry about every single student,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the purpose of education. You have to educate all the kids. So student achievement, as you know, is how this we have goals, and you mentioned it earlier, the 30, 60, 90,
36.
30% of the students at the master's
Master's
level,
level.
60% at the meets,
Mm-hmm.
and 90% at the approaches. And when you add those percentages up, you have your score, your average, and that equals to an A. A 90 is an A.
Okay.
So that's the goal. Every single when I met with you all last week after benchmark one, that's what I presented. Domain one. Now domain two is progress, um, academic growth. But you guys in third grade, there's no test to compare it with.
So we kind of set like the foundation for
Right,
scores.
right. So third grade, we have to do well in domain one because that's how you help us.
Mm-hmm.
Domain one, and then you have domain three, which is closing the gap. So that in itself has a lot of different components to help us, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot of stuff, but it's important as
Exactly.
well. So, and as we planned, you and you're gonna see how I break down the data, and um, I follow this because that's how we're going to get scored. So that's our accountability. So that's what I follow to see where we're at. And the district gives us a lot of reports as well. When I
Okay.
go to my principals meetings, they'll calculate the growth for us. But by the time I have that meeting, I already know the growth for fourth and fifth. And then I meet with them and I say, okay, this is where you're at. These are the kids that regress. We can't have anybody regress. You have to move forward. Um, so domain two for growth is what we're struggling with right now.
Yeah.
And as you know, that's our problem of practice for Holsworth. So that's what we're working toward improving.
And you do have me for the spring PSJ Expo.
Yes. Okay. Along with scores, we also need kids.
Yeah.
Okay. So the district every year we have a fall expo before before school comes. We register kids. We all go to a PSJ High School gym. We sell shirts, we register kids, we have fun, we take pictures, we get to know our future students, and we say hi to the kids that are coming back. And now we were talking at one of our meetings with Ariana, our communications department director, and she wanted to have a spring expo because we need to have more kids enrolled, as a district. And we all agreed, but this one is going to be different than the fall because the spring expo is going to be housed at every single campus, which makes sense because we're trying to attract kids in our area, to come to our school, and we're going to showcase our school. It's on a Saturday, and I would like for you to come.
Okay.
Your role as principal is you're the face of the campus. You're here to welcome kids back, and we'll take pictures with them. We'll post it on Facebook. Welcome to Clover, and things like that. We need to showcase what we. That's why we wanted to have it at the campus because we have a lot of great things that we're starting, the pond and
Mm-hmm.
the vegetables and different things like that. So our roof, we're getting a new roof,
And you,
different things. So we want to make sure that we have everything in place for the spring expo, and it's just showcasing your school, putting your best foot forward.
yes.
You know.
And then we have our part two. This is where we describe our projects that you would like practicum student to accomplish during the practicum. So you had asked me to do the math benchmark third grade data analysis special project.
Hmm.
So that's project one. We have the project two. So do you agree that we discuss and what do you think?
As I was sitting here and I saw you go over them briefly, I'm like, we selected good projects because project one, you have to see what the data says, and unfortunately, the schools get judged on STAR, the
Yeah.
assessment, right? Um, but it's okay, it's good. The tests have gotten challenging, and it challenges the kids and stuff like that. They So you analyzing the math benchmark data is good because as a principal, it's all about data, not just our data, different types of data and stuff like that. So that's gonna be a good project. And everybody does it differently. And we've had consultants come in and train you all and train me. And so and then central office does a good job also training the principals
Okay.
on data. So they want us to become experts because it's very important. It's very important. You don't know where you're going if you don't read the data. You have to be able to see what the data tells you and go from there. And then we have a curriculum presentation, and that's important, very important too. What are you teaching in the class? Like, are you challenging the kids? Because the test has gotten rigorous over the years, and it continues to get harder. But the thing is, how are you teaching the material and what material are you teaching? Are you making those connections? And you're teaching the kids. You need to teach the kids how to think, and you need to make sure that you know that when you're writing the curriculum. Um, and I know you do because you've written curriculum before, and that's what you're doing right now. So, and as a principal, you need to know what the teachers are teaching in the class
Mhm.
because you need to go in there and see if they're doing it right or not, or and if that's something that's going to help the kids because we need to be teaching stuff that
Yes.
we
No,
need
and
to teach in the grade level.
yes, and I agree with you, making sure that it's aligned to the state standards and using that academic vocabulary is one of my areas of concern.
No,
Because as teachers, we need to make sure when the students get that stemming, the stemming is not
they need to understand what the question's asking.
exactly, and then they don't know because they've never heard you verbalize it.
Right.
So this is the part two potential course, which is pretty much discussing the observation one, the two, and the three,
Okay.
and they're going to be timed. They're 45 minutes each long, totaling a total of 135 minutes. And then here we discuss the dates. These are tentative, of course, they're
Okay.
subject to change, like you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I mean, if something happens, this principal schedule is not set.
That's the fun part.
And then we have part five here. Below, any other areas in which student would like to gain more experience? I believe we spoke and I discussed you like student conduct meetings, like for example, um, how to deal with disciplinary issues, concerns, and that was a good point you brought up, Mr. Noyola at central office.
See, they have meetings after school for discipline, but it's for the secondaries. I'm gonna ask Mr. Noyola if we can go sit in one,
One
just so
just
you
to
can see what it's all about.
yes.
Because here at the elementary is very different than middle school and high school.
And that's the good thing. I get to feed off of you
Right.
because you've been a principal at a high
At the
school,
outro,
middle
yeah.
school, and you've been a teacher in middle school. Have you've been an assistant principal right in the middle school as well,
Yes.
Liberty, and then now you're in elementary. So I
And
get
I was at the alternative campus.
yeah.
So.
So that's kind of tough. Like,
Discipline is my thing. I love discipline.
and then knowledge of the principal evaluation system. I
Well, it's
know
structure,
that
not discipline, structure.
structure and knowledge of the principal evaluation system, which for example, like what is the process you take, the pre-conference,
Mm-hmm.
but sitting and observing like how the whole process actually
We can
is.
probably ask one of the teachers if they don't mind if you sit in while we do this. And because you're gonna find out every teacher's different. I know you want to stick to the script, but at the same time, it's more effective if growth and their strengths, and you kind of tailor the discussion based on that,
Mhm.
because you want the teacher to grow. If the teacher's growing while they're learning, while they're delivering the lesson, that's good.
Yeah,
You know, that's what we
yeah,
want.
correct.
Teachers have to continue to grow and learn like principals, like everybody,
Mhm.
to be the best you can be, the best you.
Um,
What
I
else?
know we're gonna wrap it up already.
Already
So
45
to
minutes?
sum it up, to sum it up, I just want to let you know that these are the expectations, and that we have discussed this, and I will be following through. I will be trying my best and making sure that all this is completed, making sure I meet the requirements with my field supervisor, with Dr. Garcia. And also, I really want to thank you for mentoring, being my mentor, and accepting me, and signing off my forms and helping me. And we will be going over in detail the core field activities that are required, which are the
Good.
160 hours.
Okay.
I know that some of the hours I have discussed with you, where I've done the curriculum.
Mm-hmm.
I've been working beyond past hours on that. This week we will be working together closely. Holdsworth,
Holdsworth.
we will be out of town. That's part of field.
Long days.
Long days, very, very
We'll
long
be back
days.
Saturday.
Um, any other suggestions or any other feedback that you want to give me? Just
Yeah, we'll see. We want to give you a little bit of everything, a lot of
mhm,
different experiences. So that way, when you become an administrator, you'll have something to fall back on.
mhm,
And that's what's helped me. Some people are like, "Oh, sir, you're not worried about this or that." No, like I've been there, done that, like,
mhm.
and the best advice I guess I can give you is don't let them see you sweat. Like sometimes, you might be feeling overwhelmed or whatever, but just stay positive, like, and just
Don't show that side.
you have everything under control, and
Mhm.
that's it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And this concludes our first observation one. And we'll take it from there and now to work on to the second observation, which will be the math and reading curriculum, and then the observations that we have scheduled. I believe the next one would be the reading curriculum and the math curriculum.
Okay.
So looking forward
Perfect.
to it, and thank you. I'm going to go
Yeah.
ahead and stop.
47 minutes.